G'day gamers, Ranger Tony here with another Pathfinder Kingmaker build video. Today we're going to do an unusual two-handed ranger build because it's a dex two-handed ranger build. I alluded to this build in the two-handed ranger build video that I've got, which is of course a strength build. I said that there is a way that you can do dex, so I'm going to show it to you here. This is definitely not the best ranger you've ever seen. It's got some shortcomings. It's not going to do as much damage as some rangers. It's going to have some deficits in some areas. In fact, we're probably not even going to cast spells. But it's something different, and if you want to try something different, give it a go and let us know what you feel, what you think. So we're picking elf as the race for this. It only works with elves. Well, you can do it with other races, but you've got to spend extra feats to get the elven curved sword. So that's what this is all built around. This is built around using the elven curved sword, which is a two-handed sword, but it is finessable. So that's how we're going to make this work. So we're going to pick ranger. Now the reason we're doing this as a ranger, you could do this as other character types. You could do it as fighter. You could probably do it as paladin. You could probably do it as barbarian. The reason I'm doing it as ranger is as ranger you will get some combat style feats for free at extra levels, which you won't get with some other builds. I would probably recommend using the default ranger for this and going with an animal companion as some extra oomph, because you're not going to do as much damage normally, although flame warden would work well as well if you want to make your sword a flaming sword. I really wouldn't recommend the freebooter as much. It would probably work all right, but I would go with ranger or flame warden. So I'm going to go ranger, and we are going to set up the ability points. Now, you've got this constitution deficit here. I would say turn this around and make constitution 12, int 10. Then I recommend going for 14 on strength, and then we're going to go up to 18 on dex. Now we've got 7 points left over. In a normal build, I would put all of that into wisdom, giving me 14 or 15 points. 14 in this case is good enough, and I'd put the other 2 points into constitution or something, or strength. But as I've said in a lot of my other videos about rangers, you really need to consider, do you need to cast spells as a ranger? Rangers they get their spells late. The spells, once they do get them, are very low level. A lot of your companions may have spells that can do similar things, but against either doing much greater effects than you can, or doing it against multiple people. So, you know, I wouldn't use rangers as healers. Some of those abilities that they get in their spells are very weak by the time they get them, and you get them very, very slowly. So it's a toss-up as to whether that's useful or not. So in this build, we're going to not put any points into wisdom at all. You're not going to cast spells. You're purely going to be a melee damage ranger, and we're going to bump that up to 20, giving us a nice +5. You've wasted a few points in there to get there, but it's not too bad. So that's going to be our ability points. Our skills, I'm recommending persuasion because you're the leader of the group. You can get other people to do your persuading for you, but I recommend giving that as a good starting point. Perception, rangers get a bonus to perception, so put that in there. They get a bonus to law nature, so you want that. That helps you when you're camping in particular. It means you can do all the hunting, bringing in supplies. And then I would recommend taking mobility, because you get a bonus to that as well, and mobility is useful in combat. So let's go through then and look at the abilities. Well, equipment first. I've been doing equipment at this stage with a lot of my other videos. It's very, very simple. You're going to want the breastplate, the best armor for rangers, because it's the best medium armor that's available. Gives you 6 points of AC protection, and can have a further 3 points of dex added onto that, giving you a total, once added to your base armor class of 10, of 19. So you will find a suit of, or a breastplate, fairly early in the tutorial mission. As soon as you get it, put it on, you'll be at armor class 19, and you'll all be good. once you start getting into enchanted armors, you can start thinking about different options, but that's pretty well the best way to go early game for rangers. Weapons, this is being built purely around the elven curved sword. So that's what we're going to use. I don't recommend using anything else. So what feats do you need to take? Well, ultimately you need to take weapon finesse for this to work. And really, you've got to take that at first level. If you don't take it at first level, then you're not going to do as well with the sword. But there's a reason not to take it at first level. And that is, if you take weapon focus in the elven curved blade right now, then you will start with an elven curved blade in your equipment. So that might be the better way to go, because otherwise you're not going to have an elven curved blade until you get to Oleg's outpost and you purchase one, and you're not going to be able to finesse it until you get to level 3 and get weapon finesse. Now, you've got 14, so you've got a +2 in strength, so that's not too bad, but you're meant to be a frontline character, you're meant to be dishing out a fair bit of damage here. If you take weapon finesse immediately, you can use any finessable weapon and you will be having a +5 to hit with that. So that's that's what you have to make the decision. Are you going to go weapon focus straight away to the elven curved blade and get that in your backpack as soon as you start? So you've got that weapon, but you're going to be a little bit less chance to hit with it. Or do you take weapon finesse immediately, meaning that you can use any finessable weapon, and then at first chance you buy an elven curved blade, and then you get weapon focus in that blade at level 3. Those are the options that you have. Now, once you've done that, once you have chosen your weapon, once you've chosen the feats that you're going to pick up at first level, at second level, you're going to want to choose either the two-handed weapon combat style, which is the recommendation from me, or the menacing weapon style. The two-handed weapon style is preferable in my opinion because it gives you all of the access to all of the cleave and its related things. So you get power attack, you get cleave, you get cleaving finish, you get greater cleave, you also get intimidating prowess, dreadful carnage, and critical focus. But cleave is where this build is going to work. Cleave is going to give you those extra attacks so that you can start powering through your opponents, and then greater cleave and cleaving finish are going to allow you to expand on that cleave. Critical focus will be good. You will want to start looking at improve critical and critical focus and things like that as soon as you can with this, because you're not going to be doing as much damage, because there is no way, unfortunately, to take the strength bonus to damage and convert that to a dexterity bonus. Now, normally, as you may know from seeing some of my other videos, you can use things like Slashing Grace for a finessable weapon. You can use Slashing Grace if you have weapon focus in the weapon to make it appear a piercing weapon, and you can add your dex modifier to your strength modifier. Unfortunately, it's only one-handed slashing weapons, so the elven curved blade does not apply. So you can't get that. You can use power attack, and definitely do use power attack. That will give you an extra point of damage, extra 2 points of damage, sorry, for every 4 levels. So that's going to be the way that you're going to do your extra damage. You're going to get a penalty on your hit roll based on that, but your dex is high enough that you can afford to wear that penalty without too much of a problem. And so then as you level up, as you get more points that you can put into abilities, put them all into your dex. Don't bother trying to build up strength or even wisdom, anything like that. You want to keep your dex as high as possible so that you can be hitting as much as possible, and then that will reduce the penalty that you're getting from power attack. So that's my recommendation. So this is a little shorter video than normal, but it's a build that will be a little bit interesting if you want to give it a try. I have played around with this, played it to a couple of levels, and it was good, but yes, you're not finding that it's working quite as well as a normal two-handed ranger or a a two-handed fighter or things like that. You're not quite as dialed in because you're not doing as much damage because you're not using your strength for... You don't have as much strength to use for your damage. So yeah, favourite enemies will be the normal choice that I recommend for all of my videos. That is, pick something that is very relevant, that has lots of different opponents. Undead are ridiculously common in any sort of online role-playing game or computer role-playing game. They always pop up. I have yet to see any game that didn't have some large portion of undead in it somewhere. So undead are always a great choice. Things that are always hard are outsiders, magical beasts, dragons, aberrations. Those sorts of things are very hard to kill, so getting bonuses on any of them are a good way to go. Now, if you also know what's coming up in the game, you can choose that. The early game, you have a lot of reptilian humanoids, so that may be a great option to start with, and you go from there. So we don't have anything else to do here. We're at our final selection point. We've basically built the character. So that's my idea for an unusual Ranger two-handed build, doing dex-based. Let me know what you think in comments. If you've done a similar build and you want to show it off, let us know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and share, and we will see you for the next interesting build video. Thanks a lot. Bye.